this is my childhood. That's why I titled it that. Like, I'm reliving my childhood right now. Like, there's chunks and chapters of my life throughout all these consoles on this screen here, which is crazy. Being a little kid and playing with my cousins on the PlayStation, having Tekken 3, love Tekken 3. All my Resident Evil games, Metal Gear Solid, PS2. Like I said, I have a memory for every single one. So just to go with a specific thing, let's see, here's one. One of my craziest memories for PlayStation 1, I had Game Day 98. It was a football game. And I was doing fantastic in this throw. I did a throw. I was running the whole field. Nobody could catch me. Nobody could touch me. I was like right at the touchdown line, and my character got struck by lightning. I will never forget that. I didn't even know that could happen. Hasn't happened since. But my character got struck by lightning, and I was just like, I didn't know that was a thing. So that's one of my greatest PlayStation 1 memories, because that always blows my mind. It was so funny. I don't remember if I won that game or lost that game, but I know I got struck by lightning, and it was during an amazing play where I basically ran the entire field, and then I got struck by lightning, and I was like, huh, that's a thing. Okay, it is a thing. PS2. Let's see, there's a trillion things for PS2, but I feel like Resident Evil 4 is a good memory. After having my game stolen and stuff, having Metal Gear and Resident Evil were my top two franchises. So I had Resident Evil being number one and Metal Gear 2. Also love God of War, and I had God of War 2. And I think because of that, God of War 2 and Resident Evil 4 became the first games I ever did 100%. I didn't do Metal Gear, because Metal Gear has like 100 million things that you just have to know about to do. So I didn't 100% Metal Gear Solid 3, but I did do God of War 2 and RE4. I completed 100%, and it was probably because of the fact that I didn't have any other games to go back to. But I think that's why I have such an attachment to those franchises. Well, I mean, I already had it for RE4, and I love God of War, and then God of War 2 was even better. Like, the story for God of War 2 is so good that it's the first thing I think of when everybody's like, man, God of War was just a hack and slash game and it didn't have story. That pisses me off when people say that, because it's really stupid. I know that it had that aura of just like, oh, it's just a hack and slash game. That game has one of the most amazing stories ever. Like, it's a story about a dude fighting the gods, and he ends up being related to them, spoilers, but he ends up being the son of Zeus, who is the son of a Titan, and then he gets basically his grandfather to help kill his father, who killed him after he rewound time to save his own life. It doesn't make sense that people are like, yeah, there wasn't much story until this new one. It's like, where have you guys been? Where have you guys been? I just don't understand it. So 100% in God of War 2 and RE4 are probably my real big things when it comes to the PS2, and just the memories of having all those games and them being taken, which is an unfortunate memory, but the games I was left with were definitely some of the greatest, for sure. PS3, online, free online, Uncharted online was a heck of an experience for me. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, I played hours upon hours with my friends, and that's my real experience, where everyone's like, everyone has like Call of Duty and now, a bunch of the Battle Royale games. But for me, it was like, I had Uncharted. For some odd reason, Uncharted and Splatoon are like my two greatest multiplayer online games. It's crazy. But Uncharted was like, I love the games, the single player campaigns, and I just love what they did with the multiplayer. You could swing around and fight and shoot and do all this other stuff. And I was like, that's great. That's what I want. And so Uncharted 2 and 3 online was just like wild. I still remember seeing the trailer to Uncharted 3 multiplayer being announced. It was on Attack of the Show, and I remember that, and it was Skrillex. I Want to Kill Everybody in the World is the song for that trailer, and it's a great trailer because excuse me, they showed the customization for that, and that was like the craziest thing ever for Uncharted 3. You could customize everything, and you can make your own emblems, and I miss that. I wish they had that in 4, where you can make emblems again. But Uncharted multiplayer is definitely like the highlight for me for PS3. It's also where I 100%ed Dead Space 2, and I beat every single difficulty in that game. And that final difficulty, you only get 3 saves and it's the hardest difficulty. Really love that. That's definitely one of my greatest gaming achievements for sure. So that's another highlight PS3 era, which is also my transition in, leaving the Xbox 360 behind. I transitioned into PS3 because I didn't have to pay. And also that was when everybody was doing that exclusive stuff, and Sony kept sniping Xbox. Every time a game came out on PlayStation, it was like, PlayStation has like these 2 missions for free and Xbox didn't. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting on PlayStation then. And I didn't have to pay for online, on the 360, which I also recently found out that the 360 version of Dead Space 2 actually has 2 discs. Did not know that because it wasn't Blu-ray, it was DVD still. So Dead Space 2 100%ing and Uncharted multiplayer. And then finally, the PS4. The PS4 is just a heck of an era. I mean, it's still technically the current era in a sense. It's weird in between. We're still getting cross-gen, which we're still gonna have going into the end of next year. I don't think we'll have like full PS5 until this time next year, if not after, considering the holiday. So it just depends. But PS4, I mean, heck, PS4 is so much. I mean, that Fallout 4 was a big one when I first got that. Playing Uncharted 4 for the first time and multiplayer there. But let's see, if I had to pick like crazy memories, it might be Resident Evil 2. I mean, there were so many things. I mean, heck, personally, I feel like there's been more Resident Evil games on the PS4 than any other console. I mean, I played Resident Evil 7, remake of 2, 3, and 8 came out. And then I also had the collection. I mean, maybe that's my greatest memory. Well, it's definitely a big one. I played like so many Resident Evil games all on PS4. It kind of brought it back to what it used to be, where it was like everything's right there. It was like almost every game, every Resident Evil game felt like it was on the PS4. But yeah, I think maybe Resident Evil, possibly even Control. I don't know. It's really hard to pick. Like, it's not old enough for me to have like a set thing just yet, but definitely RE2 remake, The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, wild experiences, especially very close to each other. So that was interesting as well. A lot of good times. Actually, the PS4 is the first console I ever recorded videos on for my gaming stuff. That would probably, if I had to pick one thing as far as its legacy, that was where it all started. It was on PS4. I didn't do it for PS3 because you also couldn't. So PS4 was the first time I was ever able to like stream from my console. And I did live streams of like Uncharted 4 and stuff. And also Fallout 4. So that would probably be it. The live streaming era. Video game photography. That's it. That's what it is. It's video game photography for the PS4. Because Uncharted 4 was the first one, and then Horizon Zero Dawn is what made it permanent in my life. So that is the ultimate legacy for me of the PS4. It was my introduction to the world of virtual photography. And now we'll see what happens. We got the PS5 in front of us. 4K graphics, 60 frames per second. Who knows? But it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. Bring back Dino Crisis. I know that's not actually Sony, it's Capcom, but still, just bring back Dino Crisis. Please put it on the PlayStation Store, even though I don't pay for that and I probably won't. But put it on there for people that want it. Everybody loves Dino Crisis. It's Dino Crisis.